My beloved child, today is not an ordinary day, and this is not an ordinary message. On December 18th, heaven has marked this moment with precision. Jesus himself is reaching toward you right now, not later, not tomorrow, but now. If this appeared before your eyes, it is because you were chosen to receive it. This is very serious. Something has already begun moving in the spirit, and the next 30 minutes carry unusual weight. Do not treat this lightly, because moments like this do not repeat. Hear this carefully. There are millions of people scrolling, moving, distracted, yet you stopped here. That is not coincidence. Jesus knows where to find his own, and today he interrupted your routine on purpose. There is a reason you were separated from the noise for this exact message. Heaven is not shouting to the crowd right now. It is whispering directly to you. Let me tell you what is happening behind the scenes. The Lord saw the pressure you have been under. He saw the silent questions you did not speak out loud. He saw the moment when you almost gave up, when you said, "I don't know how much longer I can hold on." And instead of rebuking you, Jesus moved closer. He sent Archangel Michael to stand watch, to guard this moment, to make sure nothing interferes with what is being released to you now. This is serious because timing matters. There are divine windows that open briefly, and if you are aware, you step through them. If you ignore them, they close quietly. Jesus is trying to reach you because something is aligning that must not be delayed. What you are sensing in your spirit is real. That strange pull you felt before clicking this video was not random. It was an invitation. Listen closely. The next 30 minutes are not about fear. They are about instruction. Heaven is not warning you to scare you. Heaven is warning you to prepare you. There is a shift occurring around your life, and not everyone is meant to know about it yet. That is why you were told not to speak this to anyone. Some things grow best in silence before they are revealed in power. Archangel Michael is present as a guardian of divine order. Whenever heaven is restoring alignment, Michael stands ready. He protects what God is building and blocks what tries to interfere. Right now, he is standing at the edge of your destiny, ensuring that what Jesus has planned for you is not disrupted by doubt, distraction, or outside voices. Jesus is saying, "Open your eyes and stay with me." This message is unfolding step by step. Each word is intentional. Each pause matters. You may feel a strange urgency, like something is about to be uncovered. That feeling is correct. A truth is about to surface, and once you see it, you will never see your situation the same way again. Do not rush. Do not multitask. Give this moment your full attention. When Jesus speaks urgently, it is not because he lacks control. It is because he loves you enough to intervene before things drift too far. He is stepping in early so you do not have to clean up something later. This is mercy in action. You may be wondering, why me? The answer is simple but profound. You listened before. You believed when it was uncomfortable. You stayed soft when life tried to harden you. And even when your faith felt weak, you did not let it die. That is why heaven trusts you with this message now. Something is being held back until you receive this instruction. Once you understand what Jesus is revealing, the atmosphere around you will change. Decisions will become clearer. Confusion will lose its grip. Peace will begin to settle where anxiety once lived. This is not emotional hype. This is spiritual alignment. Archangel Michael's presence signals protection, but also authorization. It means you are allowed to move forward without fear. What tried to delay you before will not have permission after today. Jesus is placing a boundary around your life that cannot be crossed. Stay focused. What comes next will explain why this had to reach you today, on this exact date, and why the timing could not wait even one more hour. This is where things begin to make sense. Take a breath. You are safe. You are seen. And you are exactly where you are meant to be right now. My precious one, as this message continues, understand that what Jesus is doing right now is deeper than comfort. He is bringing clarity. Many times, confusion is not from lack of effort but from spiritual noise around you. You have been surrounded by too many voices, too many opinions, and too many expectations placed on your life. Today, Jesus is quieting that noise so you can finally hear what has always been true. In this moment, heaven is asking you to slow your thoughts. Not everything you have been feeling belongs to you. Some of the heaviness you carried was never yours to hold. Jesus knows this, and that is why he reached you today instead of allowing you to keep carrying unnecessary weight. When he intervenes like this, it is because he wants to separate what is real from what is false in your life. Archangel Michael is still standing near, not as a distant symbol, but as a protector of your spiritual space. His presence means that distractions will try to pull you away, but they will not succeed if you stay attentive. There is a reason your heart feels alert right now. Something inside you recognizes truth when it hears it. That recognition is awakening again. Jesus wants you to reflect for a moment. Think about the last few weeks. Notice how things almost worked out, then suddenly stalled. Notice how answers seemed close, then slipped away. That was not punishment. That was delay for protection. Some doors were kept closed because you were not meant to walk through them yet. If you had, you would have settled for less than what heaven intended. This is where today becomes serious. The next phase of your life requires discernment, not desperation. Jesus is correcting your vision so you don't confuse urgency with alignment. Just because something feels immediate does not mean it is from God. And just because something takes time does not mean it is delayed. Heaven works with precision, not panic. You were chosen to see this because you are at a decision point. Not all decisions look dramatic. Some are quiet, internal shifts where you decide what you will no longer tolerate, what you will no longer chase, and what you will finally trust God with. Jesus is speaking to that inner decision today. There is also something else being revealed. Someone around you has been influencing your emotions more than you realized. Not necessarily with bad intentions, but with limited understanding. Jesus is not asking you to cut people off in anger. He is asking you to stop letting them define your worth or your direction. When God elevates you, not everyone can go with you in the same way they used to. Archangel Michael's role here is important. He is a divider of truth and deception. Where lines were blurred, they are being redrawn. Where you were unsure, confidence will return. This does not mean every answer will appear instantly, but it does mean you will stop doubting yourself so much. That is the first breakthrough. Jesus is also addressing your fear of missing out. You have worried that if you wait, you will lose your chance. Hear this clearly. What is meant for you cannot miss you. The only thing that can delay it is fear-driven action. That is why this message came before the next step, not after it. Heaven is protecting you from regret. Something is shifting in your perception right now. You are beginning to see that rest is not weakness, and patience is not passivity. Jesus rested before major miracles. Silence often came before his greatest revelations. You are being invited into that same pattern. Do not rush this moment away. The seriousness of today lies in awareness. Once you become aware, you are responsible. Responsible to listen. Responsible to pause. responsible to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. Jesus trusts you with that responsibility. Otherwise, he would not have interrupted you like this. Archangel Michael remains watchful because there will be subtle tests, small distractions, minor doubts, ordinary tasks trying to pull your focus. None of them are dangerous, but together they can dilute what God is doing if you let them. Stay intentional. Stay present. What comes next will begin to uncover the deeper reason this message could not wait. There is a connection between what you have been praying quietly and what is about to unfold publicly in your life. The two are closer than you think. Let this sink in. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared with care, and preparation often feels like stillness before motion. Remain here. The next unfolding carries insight that will change how you interpret everything that happens next. My beloved one, now we move into the heart of why this message feels so intense. What Jesus is doing right now is not only speaking to you, but positioning you. There are moments when God speaks gently, and there are moments when he speaks urgently. Today is urgent because something is about to respond to your obedience. Heaven is not waiting on circumstances. It is waiting on alignment. And alignment begins in the spirit before it ever shows up in your life. You have been asking God for a sign, even if you did not say it out loud. You asked him to confirm whether you should hold on or let go, whether you should wait or move, whether what you felt was real or just emotion. Jesus is answering that prayer right now. This message is not the end of the conversation. It is the confirmation that the conversation has already begun. Archangel Michael stands here as a witness. In Scripture, whenever God was about to establish truth, Michael was present to defend it. His presence here means that what Jesus is revealing to you is protected. No confusion has permission to distort it. No fear has authority to override it. This is a moment of clarity, and clarity always demands a response. Here is what Jesus wants you to understand clearly. What is coming toward you will require courage, not because it is dangerous, but because it is unfamiliar. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar blessing. You have mastered survival, but now God is inviting you into expansion. Expansion stretches what you are used to. That is why this feels heavy and holy at the same time. Here is something specific Jesus is correcting in you today. You have been measuring your progress by visible results, but heaven measures progress by obedience. You did more right than you realize. You prayed when it felt pointless. You stayed kind when you could have grown bitter. You kept your heart open when closing it would have felt easier. These choices mattered more than you know. This is also where responsibility comes in. Once truth is revealed, it cannot be unseen. You are being asked to trust what God chose you next, even if it does not match your expectations. The next 30 minutes are about awareness, not action. Do not rush to do something. Let understanding settle first. Action will follow naturally. If this message is resonating, pause for a moment and engage with it. Let others know this message exists by liking it, sharing it, and leaving a comment that declares your faith. Subscribe to this space and stay connected, because what is unfolding does not end here. When you support and spread messages like this, you become part of how God reaches others who are still searching. Now listen carefully, because this next insight matters deeply. The reason you were told not to speak about this yet is not secrecy, it is protection. Not everyone understands divine timing, and premature sharing can invite doubt before faith is fully formed. Jesus often told people to remain silent until the right moment. You are being taught that same wisdom now. Archangel Michael's role here is to guard your confidence, Doubt will try to sneak in quietly, asking you if this is really God or just coincidence. But coincidence does not speak with precision. Coincidence does not align dates, emotions, and answers so perfectly. This is divine orchestration. Hold on, because what comes next will connect the invisible work God has been doing with something very practical in your life. You will begin to recognize patterns, not of failure, but of preparation. This is where many people look away too early, but if you stay, the picture becomes clear. Before moving forward, receive this spiritual activation. Type "I receive divine timing" in the comments if this message is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 777 has just been released over your life, marking alignment, protection, and clarity in this season. As I speak, I sense Jesus saying, "Those who help carry this word will never lack." When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are not supporting a channel, you are watering souls. The word declares that when seed is released into good soil, heaven opens rivers where there were dry places. I feel led to tell you directly, your obedience in this moment unlocks light for others who are still in darkness. Let your giving be a prophetic act, not a hesitation. As you give, may oil never run dry in your house, and may God multiply back to you what you release in faith. Act now, and obey what you feel stirring in your spirit. My dear one, now that the confirmation hath been released, Jesus is guiding you into understanding what this shift will look like on a deeper level. Many people misunderstand divine movement because they expect noise, speed, and instant change. But what God is doing with you right now is quieter, steadier, and far more permanent. This is not a temporary emotional high. This is a realignment of your inner world so your outer world can follow without resistance. You may notice that your reactions are already changing. Things that once triggered anxiety are beginning to lose their power. Situations that would have shaken you before now feel distant, almost small. That is not you becoming careless. That is you becoming anchored. Jesus is stabilizing you so that what is coming does not overwhelm you when it arrives. There is something important you must recognize. The enemy often attacks right before clarity arrives, not after. Confusion, fatigue, emotional heaviness, and self-doubt were all signs that you were close to a breakthrough. Not far from it. That is why this message had to reach you now. Heaven does not warn you after the storm. It prepares you before it clears. Archangel Michael remains present because protection is still active. When alignment increases, resistance often tries to make a final appearance. This does not mean something bad is about to happen. It means the old patterns no longer have authority, and they are losing ground. You may feel moments of emotional resistance as your spirit adjusts to this new posture. Do not interpret that as failure. It is transition. Jesus wants you to understand something very clearly here. You are not being asked to figure everything out. You are being asked to trust what is being revealed one layer at a time. God rarely gives the full picture at once, not to withhold, but to protect you from overwhelm. You are being given exactly what you need for this moment, no more and no less. There is also a healing happening beneath the surface. Old disappointments you thought you had moved past are being gently released. Not by force and not by confrontation, but by truth. When truth enters, lies lose their grip naturally. You are realizing that some of the guilt you carried was never yours to bear. Some of the regret you punish yourself with was already forgiven long ago. This is where maturity begins to replace striving. You are no longer chasing validation or proof. You are learning to rest in what God has spoken, even before it manifests. That kind of faith is powerful because it cannot be manipulated by circumstances. Jesus is teaching you how to stand firm without becoming rigid.